Cards already.
Mhm. They're
I pulled a
already
few.
flying.
They are, yeah, they're good ones. Oh, they're the ones that always stick together too. They all need to come out together. This one's good. Okay. Well, I was gonna keep shuffling, but
Yeah.
I have a couple that are already out here. So I have my mantras. It says, "My greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me."
Okay.
I didn't realize that was a piece of it, what others think of me. But then I got the swan, and it's, "You're beautiful just as you are."
Oh, that's funny how they tie in together.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the sense before I even got to these ones, the sense I'm getting is that even if it's not within our own thoughts that we're thinking about what others are thinking of us, that we're kind of still living that way, even though we're not even
hmm
maybe thinking about what other people are thinking. Um, and then chakras were heart chakra perception is obviously the perception of ourselves. This incoming information about creation, what it is that we want to create, it's this
Okay.
direct information. It comes right down to the root chakra, which is the discovery. Um, it comes back up to the throat chakra, which is vanity. It's the sense of we need to be okay just as we are, be a little more vain, like be a little
hmm
more all right with being in the public eye, and like people want to see us hear what we have to say, be a little more, um, you know, not narcissistic, but love
Yeah.
ourselves a little bit more. Then it ties it back down to the heart for growth. So I appreciate that it gave like heart chakra for
Yeah.
perception and then growth at the end. Like it's very much this capped at the heart where the order that it is like, I'm trying to get information to you, but you have to be secure to come back out the heart because you're beautiful just as you are.
It's interesting because that first card that you pulled out, n not with the to not care about what others think.
Mhm.
Even now or wherever I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get those words out. Wherever you are in your process or in your journey of that perception of the other's perception, even when you get to the step where you say, "Oh, I don't care what people think of me," there's always that split second of hearing something reflected back to you of what people think of you. There's always that split second where it gets to you in a way for it to get you to react to it, saying, I don't care." And it's within that split second, if we can catch ourselves in that split second so that it doesn't like sink in, like hearing it so that it can like kind of like bounce off and doesn't come in so that we don't even have to go into the reaction of saying, well, I don't care what they think. And that, I guess that would be the next level of not caring what about what people think. It
Because I
just
felt
got
that
it
when you
just got
said
you.
that, like, I don't care. Like, you're like, oh, yes, you do. Like, you wouldn't have had to say, I don't care if you didn't care.
Yeah. It's just that split second. Sometimes it's even like even this it's even the split of the split of the split second. And it's just things and sometimes like we end up not even realizing something triggered us because we still have that loop somewhere going so fast we don't even hear it. So, getting into that level of awareness where it doesn't even sink into our system or our energy. It just comes towards us and gets deflected. That's the word I was looking for. It gets deflected. We hear it, but it doesn't. And if it goes in, it's just like that empty tunnel of air that we can have, one ear out the other.
Mhm.
No
I think
processing.
I'm curious to understand a little bit if there's like a trigger you can hear versus a trigger you can feel, because perhaps sometimes it comes in as something you would hear, and usually you'd be like, oh, I would hear it and it would trigger me. But if you've gone past that level, you're like, well, it's not triggering me when I hear it, but I still feel it in my body. So is there like a level of like a thought can kind of get you there, but also
Hmm.
the sensation could still be there if the thought isn't there? Does that make sense?
There's more than there's different levels of the whole process. There's the level of something you hear, so that's a frequency that becomes uh integrated within the biology. So there's an interaction between an action, a spoken frequency, and then the reception of it through the biology. And then there's the other, so that would get processed through the brain, and then the little loops that we have, simple loops, sometimes, you're not worthy, or stuff we hear from our childhood or when or upbringing. It can come from any source. So there's those triggers, and then the other one that you're talking about is the felt. So that would be more of just the body itself. So it doesn't get processed through the brain. It's just an energy, because you could even feel it if you're sensitive enough. You could even feel it without anything being spoken or without the person even being in your vicinity. It could be if somebody has such a how can I say it? If somebody has a strong feeling towards you, like an intention, it could be good or bad. You could be receptive to it because you're kind of tied knowing each other. And then sometimes one explanation is like you think of somebody and then they call you. So you think so much of that, your thought, your intention and of the thought was so strong that they perceived it. That I should call this person.
Mm, mm,
And it goes in the same manner with good intentions or bad intentions, and even a good intention towards somebody. If that person has a different perception of you than you have of them regarding the relationship, your good thought could make the person perhaps maybe a little unsettled because it's not something that is within a reception. So, with that sense of frequency, our nervous system and our fascia, which is very packed with nerves, they're they're the reception antennas, very strong reception antennas. So when this energy comes towards us, these frequencies come towards us, the body feels it, and that's where. But the brain doesn't process it. It's just the biology feels something, and then the body triggers a reaction saying, okay, there's something coming our way or being sent our way that we have to be aware of or attuned to or be, I can't find my word anymore. Be on the lookout for so that we don't get like spontaneously surprised.
yeah, because I could definitely feel like the basic understanding is we're getting our information like intuitively and whatever, and you're like thoughts. But I was thinking like sometimes it's the energy. Sometimes you just get triggered through your body and you're like, I feel a completely different way now, and I'm thinking about things from my past and why am I triggered when I haven't interacted, but you're interacting at all the time, no matter what. And it's funny, like you said, fascia and all that. Like I have the knowledge, I have the education and that kind of thing, but I never really thought of it itself as a receptor as much as I'm like primed to think of your third eye and otherwise as your receptor. So that's very much more connecting to the whole body to be like, oh my God, the whole body will receive information and you're going to have to perceive it. And sometimes it will go through your mind and other times it just won't. Hmm.
If we like take if we stop and think about it, it's in a logical way. Ever since from birth, like when we when we are born, the first thing the first thing that gets a reaction is the our body. So we get helped by the doctors, maybe like a little slap on the butt, or if there's some liquid still in the little throat, they'll come and take out the stuff. But the first thing that reacts really is the body in that survival of taking the first breath outside of the womb. And when when you stop and think about it that way, you kind of better understand that everything that we live through, that we go through, the body is always the first receptor. Their information is received by the body, and then it is processed by the brain, by the intellect, or it's going to be processed emotionally, depending on our education, our beliefs, our perceptions of the thing. But the first responder in our lives is our vehicle, is the body.
And you get taken away from that your whole
Mhm.
life. Like you get taken away from following those intuitive memories that your body holds on to and is trying to steer you. And we're told to really focus on thought. How do you get over a problem? You think about how to fix it harder. Like this is a very seemingly broken system for figuring things out, no different than, say, the medical system, where we should be trying to listen to the body first, not let's listen to the basic symptoms. Let's not listen to the almost end phase of thoughts that are going on. Perhaps we go inward and go right into the body, and you'll get more information. Like, do we have to close the mind off to hear the body? And
You
it
have to
should
get
already be,
it, you don't really have to necessarily have to close the mind, but give equal parts. Let
yeah.
each give its wisdom because there's a bit of wisdom in both. Because when the body when the mind when the mind settles and gives way to the body can then be at ease. And when the body is at ease, the chemical reactions that the brain then can be clear and have some tranquility. And that's in the main functioning for meditation or for people that don't meditate. That's why you feel generally most of the time you feel good after a shower because a shower is or a bath is uh is in some ways meditation because you're focused on one task, just getting clean and the action of the water appeases the body. And then that's why we always feel good after a bath or a shower because we're at at our base clarity level state.
Yeah. That it definitely makes more sense to like put them together. And as to why, if some people are more connected to their body, why they try and escape with mind and vice versa. If you're more connected to your mind, you have to then pull back and try and ground and be in your body. And I struggle with that to come down to the body because I'm always up here. Whereas a lot of people don't want to go up here, so they stay down here. It's very interesting. And
Because you can also view it as a three-point system where you have two extremities and one center. The more you're at the extremity, well, the further you are from the other side when you need balance. And then the closer you get to the center, the more you can access both extremities.
oh man, that just blew my mind. Because I'm very one-sided a lot of the time. But to think of it as I'm not trying, like I'm always like trying to get both sides equal, and it's very difficult. So then I give up and I go heavily on one side. And it's not that I'm just trying to get to center. I haven't got this one online enough to go. I'm so much further away from
Mhm.
the other end than I just am from center. That's very interesting.
Because the extremities aren't fixed. It's kind of like if you view,
Anywhere.
anywhere, it could be any extremity. If you It's kind of a simple example is somebody that has a certain belief system and that get would get sucked into a sect so far away from his center out in that sect that the view of the opposite is so far away that there is no perception of anything else but what it's the person is living. But as the deprogramming gets done and starting to get more closer to a center, then there's a better vision of what that was and then what the other side is. And that's where the clarity comes in, the closer we're in our center point. And it's useful for so many different things.
Beautiful. I like the way that you stated how that's useful because it takes away the fact that you're like, if I go this far in any direction and I'm way out from center, I'm failing. Well, you're not. That's a viewpoint. You needed to realize that you were so far out of center that you needed to come back to realize there's also this other side as well. It's not this fixed thing in whatever it is that you're trying to expand into. And there kind of is no wrong. There's just sort of further away from center.
Yeah,
Interesting. Um, I pulled a card just
yeah,
while we
go.
were chatting earlier. I pulled two. I didn't understand why I pulled this, but I'll have to read it to see why. But I was gonna pull a healing mantra, but the one that's sitting on top is activating the third eye. Um, and I'm willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. And conclusions is really the thing here that like this whole point that you're making that
Hmm.
it's not the end thing, it's not a conclusion, and this whole third eye center thing. But then I got the bat and the hellbore, which is intuition. Literally all about intuition. I need to show that to you, sorry. And then the one I pulled first, which I didn't understand, I got the chipmunk and the laurel, which is success. So I'm gonna read what it has to say because
Uh-huh.
there's something about it that has to be said.
The chipmunk and the bat
You know, the chipmunk and the bat, I don't
walk
think would
into
be
a
friends.
bar.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, seven. It's just seven. Okay, and what's the bat? I,
It's interesting how one of the cards portrays an animal that's more of a nightlife and a flyer, and the other one is a very grounded and in mostly day life. Very
it's
two
true.
opposites.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and I does it do okay, so they both came out reversed. Okay, so the chipmunk and the laurel symbolize new venture that will surely lead to success. The chipmunk often takes the road less traveled, finding hidden pathways and adventures along the way. The laurel is a symbol of victory, used to crown the winners in the ancient Olympic Games. Together, they tell us to take charge of our destiny, carve out our own path, and find success. Okay, so it did come out shockingly, like definitely reversed, and it says this can be a sign of stagnation. You may feel frustrated, stalled, or set back. Think about the clever and enterprising chipmunk. What lesser known pathways could lead you to your goal, or how might you redefine success? How can I carve my own path and live my own truth? Totally.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, and the bat was reversed, so it says, your thoughts and actions are out of sync. You may be heading down the wrong path, or you might have put the trust in the wrong person or thing. If something feels off, it usually is. Pause, listen, respect your inner knowing. And I think all of that is really both of them just to say state follow the intuition of coming back to home. Like where has it have you felt out of sync? And it could be anything from how you're eating to the way that you're thinking about your situations and stuff. So it's very much like this.
It's
We
funny.
aren't in as bad of a situation as we think we are, that we just have a perception that we are. And the whole chipmunk is like, you're in like some other weird path. Don't worry about it. You're going to where you should be as long as you stay here.
We'll find a way.
We'll find it. Don't worry. Don't panic. Yeah, the bat and the chipmunk.
So if
And
the
then
bat card comes reversed, does that make the bat right side up
I
on
mean,
its
you would
feet?
view it that way, but he's upside down at that
Yeah.
point. So I don't know.
That's
I like
strange.
them.
Cards
Yeah.
on a swivel.
Yeah, and I've been getting that a lot lately because cards sort of have meanings when they're upright and
Hmm.
down, but a lot of them have been spinning. Like I'll put them down on top of the deck and they're sitting there spinning. I'm like, oh, well, okay. So what does that mean? And then I have to read both, and it really just means a transition between one and the other. Like using your own
Okay.
intuitive hits to go, okay, I'm a little bit too much here. I'm not enough over here. I've got to shift.
Mm. Yeah. Even the cards are on 6, 7.
Seriously. Oh, yeah. Perception, growth. I like that it's a lot of blues and greens with a little bit of pink. Like, we've got the purple here, but we've got like
Yeah.
blue, green, and then the pinks are the bat, brown.
Yeah, very earthy colors.
Yeah.
Bit of earth. Well, mostly earth and then sky with the blue and pink.
Yeah. Just a
Like,
it's like a very much like the
yeah.
ground, but also go up and
Yeah.
come for air.
Look up once in a while.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Any other cards screaming out?
Nope, that's it. They're like, I'm done. I'm
I'm
done.
done. Oh. Well, that was another fun one.
It was good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Until the next one.
No, I lie. There's another card. Let me be still today and listen to the truth in silence.
Ooh, and it's pink.
And it's pink.
Pink for
And
the
it's
sunset.
yep, with the swan.